So now I want to move to the next part of the show where you can talk a little bit about your industry forecast. You are going through a lot of information, you're processing, you're executing a lot of strategies. So I would like to hear, I love to hear about, I think a lot of viewers who will do is about how do you see the future of the capital industry in 2020?
So until now, we don't have the official statistic of the 2020 and 2021 because we very did the pandemic. But the picture of the capital of the Vietnam's investment opportunity for before 2020 in the 2019, you know, on the M&A deal close about more than 7 billion US dollars in the Vietnam. Almost the big deal happened before the 2020 because 2020, 2021 on the deep pandemic. But I still receive so much interest from the investor to the Vietnamese. They still often and look around to see more if I need a rubber opportunity in the Vietnam. All small investor now they very carefully to want to pour the money in any the business owner company or any industry. Most of the investors they focus on the sustainable cash flow and for long history of establishment. And if the company had a good team and understand and good emphasize the product and also the character of the product for a long time, product for a short time. So based on this, the requirement and the changing interest from the investor, I forecast that maybe the next year the total M&A deal may be around from 1 billion to 2 billion. But maybe it will happen from the mid-year of the next year or the year end of the next year because the beginning year investors still consider. And as you know that because the permission very limited for the investor or foreign investor come to the Vietnam, so almost the deal of this year happened in the online signing. I have my potential customer just get the deal from the Thailand investor for more than 300 million. Sorry, 300,000 million dollars. It's a big deal for this year. From 2020 and 2021, the deal less than 1 billion US dollars. But the next year, I think the more than because the next year, I on the process to have some customer to make the deal decision with the investor and to on the process negotiate the right with the investor. So I live from the 1 billion to 2 billion to on the general of the Vietnam market, but still more. Still more. Yes.
Thank you, Jung, for sharing this one. So from my side, what I will see in a capital industry, we see a lot of incredible changes in capital industry. Like in 2020, before 2020, it was been very successful and was been a big number. Ms. Jung just shared some really valuable numbers on that one in terms of the injection for the economy, and that was one of the incredible things for the economy of Vietnam. And that's the healthy economy to move forward and get the economy moving forward. 2020 was a little more hiccups because there was movements where there was a lot of things. But if you look into it, there was some injection happened. Like an example, Vin Group sold up a big part of the share of the Vinreals of their apartment to foreign investment. It was I think 40 to 40. There was number was not disclosed actually, but there's some lot of margin acquisitions start to happen already. But this is the thing is very important is about the companies who decided to invest more on technology and the company who wanted to invest on more about the human process and transformation. They are starting to get more investments into that one too. So like Ms. Jung just shared about, the people is number one. So if you don't have the right people, means some people who knows the right skill, has the right skill and have the right attitudes, And that can be built by having the right process and transformation and training program and upskillment program. So the company who does that, like an example, let's say a lot of great companies are done it, like Vin Groups and other companies are running into it too. So I see also 2020 will be a big time because a lot of companies are did the transformation and they're willing to take a lot more investment. And the second thing is about a little bit more difficult time. So in a difficult time, it's always become a war of survival of the fittest. So the fittest always survived, and they are the one become gainer, and they win more as well too. And the one who are not fit enough, so they need to be changed. So a lot of marginalization happens in difficult time. Like an example, when companies are in difficulties in cash flows, and that is the time actually investor buy them over because they are underpriced than any time ever. So and like an example, why do you go to a suit and buy a suit when there is a good discount into it? And probably $500 suit now they're selling in at $300, so that means there's a 40% discount. We buy them over. So the same, the investor look these kinds of opportunity as a more investor. So if you're a company as a CEO or if you're running a startup, that's if you have a cash flow problem, if you could do the right portfolio, you can get a lot of investment coming forward from the foreign investment as well too. And at the same time, the company who are feeders, they even can get more on that thing. So I absolutely believe that same way Mr. Yoon said, 2022 will be an emerging year. The last few months was probably a little bit depressing for the economy because of the lockdown, but in a couple of days it's already opened and now things start to move on. So I think that economy is going for a big opportunities for everyone. But however, the gainers will be the fittest. The gainers who has the right transformation that you did this one too. So we can talk more about this one. The last question is about